Reading is important, but information does not replace psychosis. Black people are psychologically disturbed. You have to put us through a system of psychological restoration and rehabilitation, just like we was put through a system of psychological indoctrination and self-hatred. A process made the Negro, not a classroom, but a process. It was school plus socialization. It was school plus dehumanization, not just schooling. You see that? So we have to be able to put ourselves through the same process. The problem is what? I can't force you to go through that. You're a grown man. How can I come to you and say, listen, you're about to do this for 365 days to get your mind back? I have no control over your life. Children, we can control them because they're under our responsibility. So I believe in what Frederick Douglass said, and that is it's better to raise strong children than to repair broken men. So for me and what I've learned in all these years of being in the field of psychology and education, I'm more focused on the children than I am on the adults, because something about the brain is like a computer. You get you a laptop and that laptop get a virus in it. Even if you get that virus out, it never works the same. The human mind is no different. The black consciousness is, once that Willie Lynch is there, once that white Jesus, once that white people look better than us, once that Africa is a monkey kingdom, once you put that in that mind, you can never be certain whether that virus is totally out or not. So for me, it's about taking the children who've never been processed and making them the African revolutionaries and freedom fighters that we need.
Calvin, and we're a good twin, bad twin. We were talking before camera, and I wanted to say something to you. I said I want you to start out first of all by putting your info out so people can know how to come to support.
So those who want to support the Frederick Douglass Marcus Garvey Academy, please send your donations to FDMG Academy, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware 19809. I repeat, P.O. Box 9634, Wilmington, Delaware 19809. You can also donate on your Cash App at $FDMG School. That's cash.me/$FDMG School. We have a 4-building campus in Wilmington, Delaware that includes 2 schools. We purchased February of this year, but we now need to raise the funds to restore that school and start educating our young black boys. Support FDMG, Black Power.
Appreciate the update too, because a lot of times people say, well, what you doing, and the sad part about it is, well, why you need to know that if you ain't helping, but I appreciate you even sharing that information.
No problem.
How's it going today?
All is well. Glad to be back in Jackson. This is my 10-year anniversary, counting from 2010, when I went international in the conscious movement. So to me, it's very surreal, very reflective. 10 years of doing this on the international level, 20 overall. And so now we're going into a new decade. And so I'm just excited. We got the school, so I'm very much looking forward to making a transition from consciousness raising through the lectures to institution building with the school. So it's a natural next step for me to start building instead of just spreading the information.
That's what's up. So in terms of ETA, estimated time, what do you think that looks like?
There is no ETA because I don't know how long it's going to take y'all to give me the money to fix the school up.
What's
so
what are you thinking?
It's $1 million to restore the campus.
Okay.
And until the campus is restored, it would be irresponsible for me to give a date.
Okay. Right.
School got to be restored. I mean, the best part of this whole process is we have the school.
Right.
And we have a school that has enough space in it that not only would it serve as a learning institution, but it will also serve as a black community organizing headquarters. So once we're open, I anticipate that our lights will never go off. There's so much that we can do, will do, and can't wait to do. So the timeline is up to the people. but we have the school, we own it flat out, it is ours. So half of the victory is already there.
Let's say kudos.
We now just have to restore.
Say kudos. So no curriculum is happening at the school.
What do you mean no curriculum?
Because you can't, because physically.
Yeah, physically the building got to be restored. So the school is empty until we get it restored. We got to get the electric done, the HVAC done, the plumbing has to be redone. The school is in beautiful structural shape though. If you walk through it right now, you would say to yourself, well, how much does it need? Because everything is still intact. It was a modern charter school that closed down a couple years ago. Excellent shape. The reason it needs the repairs is because it was vandalized the 4 years while it was closed. If it was not vandalized, it would be move-in ready. Literally, we would have moved in and just opened up class. But if that were the case, I probably would not have been able to afford it. The $750,000 we raised would not have been enough to purchase it. We still didn't have enough. They wanted well over $1 million, but I just stayed on them and stayed on them and stayed on them. And after 18 months, they finally decided to sell it to me. I couldn't believe it. So it was divine intervention that we even have it, because we still didn't have enough money for it.
Well, I'm glad that it's open.
Yes, yes.
You're well on to your phases of
restoring it, and then operations. Acquisition, restoration, operation.
Okay, so what are some other goals besides the school?
Well, in addition to the school, we're working on a Black Wall Street West Africa project. I was given 50 acres of land in Ghana, and I want to replicate what we're doing in Wilmington, Delaware in West Africa. So I want to build an FDMG on the continent, an FDMG here, which is Delaware, and then we can have an exchange program and the children can go back and forth. So can the teachers do that? So everything I'm doing in America, I want to also do in Africa, because it's Pan-Africanist. We don't believe that you ignore your domestic struggle. I still have an obligation to my people here, but I also see the larger struggle, and that is doing what we need to do for ourselves permanently on the continent, because anything you build here, they can take it. Once FDMG is up and running, I'm going to automatically have to start thinking about how long before I need to repatriate to the continent. Because if my school does what it is born to do, and it will, I'm going to be too much of a threat. Just like with Black Wall Street, you got to know how long you got on your lease before you get the hell out of Dodge. Because Black power is a contradiction to white power. White supremacy cannot let Black power thrive. That is a contradiction in what they stand for. That's why they had to destroy Tulsa. They had to destroy Rosewood. Okay, they had to destroy Charleston, South Carolina, Wilmington, North Carolina, because Black power in a white racist system is a contradiction. Which is why when we talk about Black empowerment, we got to recognize that at the end of that conversation has to be something that deals with a Black militia or a Black military, because they're coming to tear it down. White people cannot help but destroy things that are progressively Black. It is in their DNA.
How do you prevent, you talk about a militia, how do we get to the point where we can prevent the tear down, or is that possible?
You got to have a military in place. But if you're in America, there's really no way that a minority is going to stop, a numerical minority in this country is going to stop a numerical majority who wants to destroy what they built. This is why we always say in Pan-Africanism that you have a future outside of Africa, but you don't have a future without Africa. What do I mean by that?
Because you need the numbers.
And you need the protection. Why was it so difficult for America to colonize Cuba? Because Cuba had an international ally in Russia who would not allow America to bully their little brother. So we need to build a relationship with certain African nations, it doesn't have to be the whole continent, who have a strong enough influence on the United States government to give them pause if they do anything to work against our best interests. But the problem right now is no African nation is strong enough to give America pause. So as long as Africa is weak, Black America will be weak. Black America will never be strong without a Black strong Africa. You've never seen any people be stronger outside the homeland than they are inside their natural homeland, because the natural homeland's reputation dictates the reputation of all her children in the world. So you don't see there's no strong Chinese community without a strong China. There's no strong Jewish community without a strong Israel. Our contradiction as a people And this is a timely conversation because we're what, 400 years in now. We're starting our new 401st year, 5th century, new decade, into the quadricentennial. As we go into 2020, we're ending so many cycles and starting a new one. We still haven't got it yet. There will be no strong black Africa, no strong black America without a strong black Africa. So you have to invest in Africa. You have to go back home, because whether you want to live there or not is irrelevant. Most of us think, if I don't plan on living in Africa, I don't need to be worried about Africa. You are so politically immature. The way you are treated is a direct reflection of the way Africa is viewed. The way you are treated is a direct reflection of the way Africa is viewed. When people look at us, they don't see Americans. They see Africans. 400 years, 4,000 years, 4 million years, they will still see an African. So you better do something for Africa so she can do something for you.
Can we do for Africa? What do you see?
Economics. Actually, I don't even want to limit to that. Education. Almost anything that black America needs, black Africa needs. But because the financial exchange rate is so much greater because of the economic devastation on the continent, your money goes so much further in Africa. And one of the questions I always get from brothers and sisters in Africa, we were just there this past summer for the year of return. They say, why do y'all go through all that hell competing with white businesses when you can come and open your business here and you don't have no white competition? They don't understand it. They say some of those African-American businesses that are failing in America would be multi-million-dollar businesses here in Africa. Why don't y'all just come here and invest? Because we don't have an international perspective. We have disidentified from being black, and we would rather be psychologically homeless. We would rather be psychologically homeless than connected to Africa. And that is insane. And by the way, we're the only psychologically homeless people in America. Mexicans know they Mexican. Chinese know they Chinese. And then you get Negroes who say, well,
I ain't from Africa.
I wasn't born in Africa. Well, neither was the Chinese American. He's 6th generation USA, but he's still Chinese. That flag still waves in that house because he knows his origin. You have to know your origin and you have to claim it. We're the only ones who don't.
All right, let's talk in terms of like building a relationship. I'm talking about laying concern. I mean, I don't know anybody, so where am I gonna start? You know,
with Africa?
Right, exactly. To develop a relationship. Because last time we spoke, we talked about things we need to focus on. You had like points, okay, like transportation, banks. There were about 4 different areas that you spoke of. You said if we focus on getting these things where we have complete ownership in these areas, then we can kind of start taking back our culture. But so then I don't know anybody in Africa. I'm saying not that I don't, but I'm saying I don't know anybody in Africa, as an example. So what do? I reach out to
the first thing.
What do I do? I mean,
the first thing to do, you have to physically go. Africa, and this is true for any country, I would say, internationally speaking. The worst thing you can do is try to build an electronic relationship. We have to keep digital communication in this place. We're trying to do things digitally that should only be done through human beings. Building relationships is one of them. So first I would tell someone to investigate the continent and decide what country you feel would be most amenable to where you would want to do business or relocate, one or the other, because you can live there or you can just do business there. You have to go, because here's the biggest challenge of doing business in Africa. Having someone on the continent you can trust with your money. You got to have someone on the continent you can trust with your money. So you have to build that relationship up. So once you choose the country you're interested in, I would reach out to the traditional rulers. That's the traditional kings. They own the land. And it's not hard to find them. You can go to Africa and say, listen, I know people who've just showed up in Africa and didn't know nobody. I'm looking to buy some land here because I want to build some institutions. People will take you to their traditional ruler. He's going to take you to his village. He's going to take you to his village. She's going to take you to her village. You will have no problem finding a traditional ruler who is going to sit down and talk to you the minute they hear you say you want to invest and all you need is land. Because in Africa, the land is still under the control of the traditional rulers. They have politicians, but the land is still traditionally owned, and that's the beauty.
That's weird that you said it, because I thought like most of the land, the outside perception is that the land it's been pillaged for mineral rights and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Okay,
good point. We're talking about the land in general. Now, when you talk about land where known mineral deposits are, that land may have already been sold to the international European corporation. You follow me? In other words, you're not going to get the land that has 10 million tons of gold. You're not getting that. We're just talking about regular arable land where you can grow and you can build on it. Mineral land, you don't even want to get into that.
Hi, I'm Alden. And I'm Calden. Thanks for following us. You can find us on Facebook at Good Twin Bad Twin Unleashed, and also on Instagram at Good Twin Bad Twin Unleashed. Now don't forget to watch our YouTube page and make sure you like and share our videos. Also go to our Facebook page, check out our t-shirt line. We have several wonderful t-shirts there that helps us to continue to provide good footage for you. Thank you.